Hello friends, we are back. Hello, how are ya? We are going to be animating some electric effects to the end of our attack sequence here. On these attacks. Sorry, I was thinking about what I'm going to do. And it's gonna look like, look like this. Okay? I'm gonna show you how I go about in doing my electricity effects. Yo, what's up, my friends? How are we doing? Hello, hello. Let's see who we got here. Hold on, I'm popping my chat out. I'm moving it over. There we go. Monojack, Manonam, Connor. What's up, guys? Daliog, welcome. I'm gonna be showing you how I do my electricity, and by the end of it, I'm confident that you'll be able to do it too. Okay, so in these attacks here, I want to start doing some electricity. So what is the first step? First step is I give myself a few layers. I'm just gonna call them effects. They don't really need to be specific. I'm gonna use them for different reasons. Okay. But I want to start building up where I'm gonna be attacking from. But I usually want to have a little bit of a background color. This is kind of a nice salmon color. Let's see if this salmon color will work out for us in this file over here. I kind of like this color. Yeah, I like that color. And the color is important because I'm going to be animating white. And I'll show you why I'm going to be animating white. Okay, the first step is establishing where the electricity is going to be building. So I think I'm going to do it beginning on this strike here. I'm going to start building this electricity up the body. And then, boom, that's the impact there. Okay? Alright, so watch how simple this is. You have to trust the process. It's a little bit scary because it looks awful for a while, I'll be honest. Like, it doesn't look good until you start getting towards the end of this process that I've kind of come up with or invented over the years. And I think that scares a lot of people away because it not looking good in the beginning kind of deters you from continuing, right? But we're going to trust the process here, okay? So the first thing I like to do is I like to establish where I'm going to end up, right? We're going to end up at the edge of the hammer. But I like to think that electricity comes from a couple different sources, right? Electricity comes from the body, it comes from the air, and it comes from the ground, in my world. That may not be how it actually is. I don't care. We're making it up, right? So I'm going to start some electricity from the ground here. And I'm going to travel it up to the hammer. So let's go ahead and do that. This is just a white brush. And I'm going to travel this electricity up Andre. Okay? What does this look like? It literally looks like I'm just scribbling up his body. And low key, it's kind of what I'm doing. I do have some thought in mind of where I'm starting and where I'm ending and kind of what my curves look like and kind of how the electricity is attaching itself to different parts. You know, we probably need to move a little bit faster, honestly. Oh, and my other favorite thing is this electricity does what? It likes to arc and attach to things. So since the hammer is kind of building in kinetic energy since we're about to swing it, you can begin to kind of attach it. Like so. And the first pass is really simple, okay? The first pass is real simple. Does not have a whole lot going on. Okay? That's the first pass. Maybe I break it off here. Done. Okay? Now, we're gonna add layers to it. Touchmate, what's up, buddy? Now, I'm going to adjust my brush size a little bit here, making it smaller. And I'm going to start adding a little bit more detail to the early portions of my electricity. I'm having electricity coursing, little veins coursing through the electricity that I've already drawn. This just adds a layer of complexity to your electricity. And this will look cooler later, I promise. Okay, because I'm going to play it and you're going to be like, oh, okay. But trust the process. And you know what? Maybe it doesn't look good. There is sometimes I'll do it, it doesn't work out. But either way, you have to trust the process. That's what I've learned. Trust the process. So we're going to trust the process. Again, this is adding layers of depth. And I'm going to show you there's many layers to this that we're going to be doing. Okay, so this is just adding a little bit of complexity. I'm adding like essentially an extra line of electricity to our current line. Okay. Now we're going to add something what I call bouncers. Okay. Bouncers is electricity that he is pulling from the environment around him that come from off screen or away from him, right? And they will bounce towards the source. Oops, I went backwards, not forwards. Right? And they're going to make their way, getting faster and faster as they get closer to the electricity that it was attracted to. Because in my mind, again, I make up my own rules for this. Electricity is attracted to energy and movement and object. So if those things come together somewhere, electricity wants to be a part of it, so it's going to snap to it. Okay, again, it's just adding a little bit more electricity variables, little particles here and there. All right, so that was a bouncer. Okay, so we have bouncers coming in from off screen. You can also do bouncers from up high too. Like I could do like over here. The key is that they make their way to the electricity source, right? Just like that. Okay. Following me? Now let's watch this. I bet it doesn't look great. It doesn't look great. Right? It looks okay, but it kind of just looks like scribbling. And I get, it's whatever. Right? So let's add a couple more bouncers. I like bouncers a lot. Maybe one coming from this way over here. And I'll show you what else I do with the bouncers as well. Is I like to arc connect them. So as they get closer, like this one's right here is kind of close. I'll arc connect it. Because it's like pulling it in, right? And you can even arc connect ones that are close together like this. See that? Okay. We still don't have a whole lot of electricity going on, right? And that's okay. I'll show you what we're going to do. Sometimes I like to add like a big ball source. I'll create a ball within our chunk of electricity here. And I'm just primitively moving like a thicker portion of electricity, right? I'm just creating a thickness in the electricity. Right? And I'll show you what I do with this thickness too. Because I want something for the glow and the gradients to really vibrate or really make vibrant. And if you have a thick chunk, it can really add some vibrance to it. Okay. So we got bouncers, we got them arcing and connecting. And I might even go through and add even thinner lines here. Connecting these like this. See how thin this is? I'm making it very thin on purpose. And I treat these really thin lines like almost like they're whips. Because they feel like a whip. And I'm using the thick parts that I outlined for, like, these thick parts to be the center of where these whips are whipping off of. Okay? Still looks kind of like a mess, right? Now, I'm going to go through and I'm going to make each one of these frames a movie clip. And I'm doing that because I'm going to apply a spark preset that I've designed on each of the frames. Yes, you could do this by taking one movie clip and putting it all into there and then just replacing it, and then you won't be able to see it when you're watching it in the program, but you'll be able to see it when you're watching it on export, which is what matters. But I want to be able to see what I'm doing, okay? So, what I'm going to do is, now that it's a movie clip, I have a preset that I have made called Sparks. And all it is it's a double layered glow. It's two glows. One's like yellow, one's orange, with varying levels of their X and Y being played with, as well as their strength. It's really just what I like. This could be anything for you personally. But now what I'm going to go do is I'm going through and I'm adding that glow to our electricity. And you can see how it starts to kind of bring it alive a little bit. Right? It's now not just white scribbles. It's glowing white scribbles. Ooh. And that can somewhat begin to pass as electricity. Are you starting to see it? Now let's play that. Better, right? Now you're like, okay. At this point, if you made it to this point, when you're animating, it'll begin to give you hope. In that moment, you're like, okay, wait a minute. This is, we're getting somewhere. This actually is starting to look, at least to some degree, this is starting to begin to look, at least some degree, like electricity. Right? There's one more layer to this. And this is my favorite layer because I think it's the most important one. You want to go through and get yourself a radial gradient or two that you have adjusted with a lower opacity and set the blend to add. And you can stack these, like I have two here, right? There's one and another one. And as you stack them, they will get more vibrant. Look, if you hold Alt and click, you can make more copies of the same thing. This is like 10 of them or 20 of them stacked on top of each other. You see how it became more vibrant? So I have, let's tone it down. I don't want a ton of them. You want to keep it subtle to start. It's like you're painting. It's like you're painting a background. You don't want to throw a bunch of paint on all at once. You want to throw a little bit of paint on the canvas, right? So let's just get a little bit on here. Do you see what that does when I place it on top of that? Do you see how much more dynamic and how much more electricity-esque it looks? Now it doesn't look like just white that has a glow to it, which looked good. But now it looks like it is radiant, right? Now what I'm doing is I'm taking these two radial gradients that I have overlaid on top of our electricity here, and I'm making it squish and stretch between the two frames. So squish, stretch, and I'm trying to get the bulk of where the electricity is, right? So this is stretch. I'm vertically stretching it, and then I'm squishing it. And I'm trying to match kind of the bulk of where the electricity is. Does that make sense? Stretch. This creates this like bubbling effect where it looks like it's pulsing. Right? Boom. Now we have our impact. Oops. What is that line for? Our impact. Right? Boom. Pulsing it. Stretch. Squish. Trying to keep the radials on the bulk of the move. Stretch. Squish. Stretch. And it's gone. There's a little tiny chunk of it right there. I can make it like that. Now watch this. A lot more like electricity. But we're still not done. Then I also like to add some kind of like radial impact, which I do a couple different ways. If it's on an object, which in this case it is, right? It's on your finger. I like to do something like this. Let's see if we can pull this off. Oh, it's named the same thing. Okay. It's making impact on the finger here. Actually, you know what? We're just going to recreate this. That's what we'll do. I'll show you how we do this. Because we're going to do it on a radius. So I'm going to get an oval tool. And this is a gradient that I've made over here. That is simply, it's all white. But it has 0% opacity, 0% opacity, 100, 100, and 0. And that creates this like band. This like circle that's faded in and out. And what I want from this is I want it to be a movie clip. And this is where we start to get fancy with our blends. The blends can make these kind of interesting here. So I'm going to mess with the alpha a little bit. Because when you have these and they're blending, they're going to mesh and blend with the blends that are occurring behind them. So like the glow is still showing through. If this was a firm white, it's actually not going to blend with that. It's just going to simply cover it up. So there's our impact. I'll have it expand and lower the alpha. It creates a nice little like pop. You see that? I've also seen people put smear frames of electricity. That would be pretty wild. Okay. Other layers are smoke, which we've already had. And I also like to add, sometimes I'll add like these like lightning strikes. I'm just grabbing these resources from which I've already created before. But it's almost like lightning coming down and striking the object that we want to be hit. And I think I actually like this having add. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. These are usually only for a couple frames. I'll have this, and then I'll do one more frame after it. And it's like a lightning bolt. Does that make sense? Another added layer of power is sometimes it works out, not every time, but I'll add this like almost like shock blast. behind the figure. And I'll show you how I can create that too. What's up, Max? So we have our I'll make a square here. We have the same gradient that we used before. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to target it to where it's almost like it's coming from where we're accentuating the blast, right? And you can shrink. Where's the shrink? Is it this one? Yeah. You can shrink this or expand the radius of it how you need it to. Does that make sense here? And then I can also make it hit the ground. You know what I mean? Because like this light isn't going to extend past the ground. So where he's standing, I'll just have it be right there. And it looks a little bit janky at first because you can kind of see where the fine lines end. But we're going to blur it, which will help with that. Okay, same thing. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. We can make this a blend. Sometimes lighten or add. I used to like to play with them to see kind of what I like better. Like so. And if you play with the opacity on these, some unique interactions will occur between the two of them where they overlap. And that's kind of what I want to see. So it creates this like really cool pocket right here that I like. Now I'm going to make them together one movie clip. And I'm going to blur it. And I'm going to decide, do I want an x-axis or y-axis? Oh, it didn't actually grab both of these, did it? No, it did not. That's okay. There we go. So that's what my X looks like. Let's see what my Y looks like. Yeah, I think we're gonna go with the X. And these are usually just a single frame. I don't know if I like it. Let me see one of the ones I created over here. Let me see if this one I like. Sometimes it doesn't work if it's like too far away. Maybe it was just too big. I could have ended as well. Let's try this. That's pretty neat. Yeah, I think when we're swinging multiple times, it's going to be sick. Yeah, I like that. And then I'll also usually do smoke off the back here. It's like you hit, and when he hits, it's like the power sends the wind that direction. Right? Like it's an explosion that occurs. Speaking of explosions that occur, we can also add in impact frames to this if we'd like. I have a really simple way we can do this. I'm going to extend my frames out a couple frames on this impact, which I F5 the entire timeline. So everything is essentially frozen here for a couple frames. Dim frame, white on black, black on white, dim, and then back. Okay, let me show you what this looks like. This is a simple impact frame. So the first frame here is our dimming frame. What's up, Nova? Dimming frame, it just preps the viewer's eyes for the inevitable impact frames that are coming. So we don't want it to be too much of a shock. So we have the dimming frame. And now, since we have our light source right here, I'm simply going to... Oops, that's not what we want. I'm simply going to trace... I'm essentially coloring, really. Coloring where it looks or appears the light would be hitting our character here based off of where the strike is occurring, right? This doesn't have to be perfect. In my mind, I've never made these like, oh, that's exactly where the lighting's gonna go. It's kind of more so just, I'm just eyeballing it. It's not that great. You could people who are definitely better with lighting than me can probably make an argument for how different parts of this I'm doing wrong. That's not really what it's about. It's not about getting that perfect. And I'll show you why it doesn't fully matter in that way. Well, one, you're only seeing it for such a brief amount of time, but we're going to be blurring it as well, so that doesn't really, you know what I mean? You'll see. Trust the process. Trust the process is the name of the game here for just about all of this. Okay. And then maybe a little bit back here is being seen. Okay. And usually I tap the smoothing a couple times just to soften up my rough edges. Okay. Now the impact is happening up there. So let's go ahead and we're going to do a little bit of like a little impact circle, which I like to just point where the impact is occurring. I just circle it. And I'm just creating these like weird little almost zoom lines towards the object, which I'm sure you've seen these kind of things before. And sometimes it helps to back up too, because remember this is an entire screen effect. So it helps to kind of see the whole thing a little better. All right. And sometimes for this, I like to select, again, the smoothing tool, tap it a couple times. It makes it a little more intricate. This is where it'll start to make sense a little more. So now we have our white traced. Wait, where did this go? Okay, that's fine. We'll just put this down here, I guess. I'm going to create a simple black background. Hooray! What is this? Hold on. What is that? I have no idea what I did there. I don't even know where that came from. Okay. It looks like this. Right? But you're like, okay, so what? Right? No big deal. I actually need to get these on the same layer as this. Okay. Now, I'm going to take this and I'm going to blur it. Just pick an axis that looks good. X or Y based off whatever you're doing. This is probably going to be Y-axis. Subtle blur, Y-axis. Power went out, I was watching you, so I couldn't even see by. Oh. Okay, so we have the dim, the dimming, the highlight. Now we do the low light. So we did white highlight with a black background. Now I'm essentially going to trace the opposite. So the thing that was Andre and not white last time, I'm now going to trace black. Essentially the opposite of whatever we did last time. I'm now going to trace black. Does that make sense? And I'm pretty much just coloring in the areas that weren't white last time. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's about just kind of getting the gist of it. Okay. I need that locked. Get that away from me. All right. Now, if you remember correctly, we also had this like circle. I'm going to expand the circle. You could even break it if you want. I like to break it. Okay, but the same thing. We're going to point towards the action here. And I like to expand it outwards, and I make the lines thicker for the second frame. And there's not really a science to what I'm doing here. I am really just creating lines, focusing in on that impact spot that I think look and feel good based off of, I don't know, experience and eyeballing it until I think it looks right. There's no real big brain science going on here other than me just kind of messing with it. I'll erase some lines too to make it look a little more intricate, a little more detailed. Lasso tool would be great here too. Break up the circle a little bit. Okay. Smooth it out. And again, movie clip. And we're going to blur it. And instead of a white back or a black background, which obviously won't show, we do a white background. And then we're going to do a dim frame after that. And then back to normal, and the animation continues. Okay? The other thing I like to do is on the white frame, I will grab this, add a new, I duplicated it, I will create add and tint. And if we think about the sparks, we could do that, or we can even do orange. Right? And I'm offsetting it just slightly. And I do it again, and I make it yellow. And it kind of gives it that, like, electric hit color. Now, the blend matters because it is overlapping. Right? I can do the same thing here. Tint if I want to. Sometimes this doesn't work out that great. And I revert it back, but I like to mess with it. It's because the white background kind of shows everything. But sometimes I'll mess with this. Where's my blend? Add. If you want to do the alpha on this, you have to go to advanced, and then you can play with the alpha here. See that? Like, I like to make it like faint, but still there. What's up, Crow? And then back to normal. And here we go. What do you think, guys? Summoned from him or the hammer? It's a mixture of both. They're working in tandem. There's energy all around you at all the time. All the time. You are right now, in real life, made up of energy. We are atoms at our core, right? Strung together by frequency. And all around us is the same thing. Atoms strung together by frequency. It's all energy. So the hammer is like a sentient object that's a pro at harnessing not only its own energy from within, but the atmospheric energy all around. And Andre is almost like a student of the hammer in that he's learning and utilizing it in tandem with the hammer. The hammer is using Andre's strength as a great generator of energy because Andre is so strong. The hammer is so heavy, right? So he has a lot of energy. So he's working with the hammer. The electricity is coursing through him with him. Right? Boom. It's a collaborative event. For those of you who are just joining us, I'm about to start this process over. So, if you want to know how to do this, from the very beginning, from no electric effects at all to what you see right now is what we got to. No, it's not a Mjolnir, because the hammer is sentient, but it's not a worthy type thing, where Mjolnir is like nobody can lift it unless it is accepted by I can't even say it, dude. It's not the same. Hammer heavy. Not magical. Like that. Okay, I'm gonna go on to the next part here. All right, so the next swing. I think I'm gonna go ahead and start the electricity in this area here. Boom, that's the hit. Okay. Step 1, we're going back to square one, starting all the way over again. It starts with nothing more than a simple brush stroke. And we got to decide where we're going to end up. So it's going to end up on the hammer here. I generally like starting from Andre as a point of energy, like at the bottom of his feet. So let's just go ahead and do that. And I'm going to travel the electricity up Andre until it can kind of like arc and snap to the hammer, which this is pretty close. Yeah, we're pretty close right there. And then once it's at the hammer, it'll make its way fully to the head of the hammer. Like that. Trust the process here, I promise. This is the hardest part because it looks awful. I'm sorry, I've heard so much about Andre now. It's revealed that the hammer is a character as well. I'm interested, yes. I actually had a longer discussion with Andre's lore with Gildeguy when he did story 8? I always forget the number, but the one that he did with Andre. And the hammer is not just an object in the way that I imagine it. And it'll make more sense with the story, but I'm not good at stories yet. So I'm saving that for another time. So this electricity travels up the hammer and it hits, and then it's going to fade out after the hit. Right? Like so. Now we go back and I add other layers to it. I'm going to start by doing another line of electricity on this line of electricity that's thinner. Okay. I'm just trying to add a little bit more variance and detail to the electricity that's already been mapped out. Okay. Okay. And then I'll start to do what I call the bouncers again, which I have these little particles coming from farther away, bouncing and joining the hammer's electricity source. You can have sparks coming off as well when it does this. Okay. I like doing a few different bouncers too, and I like if I like to go further back. It's almost like they're starting before it starts sourcing from Andre. But in my mind, electricity really wants to join like the strongest thing in the room, right? And so as it's being pulled in, it'll arc See how it arcs? It'll arc itself to attach. And I like connecting them like that because it feels like it's pulling it in. Same thing over here. So when this gets a little bit close, I might have it arc like that. And then that also kind of gives it a reason why it gets absorbed in. And like, you know what I mean? You can do another one too from further out. And that can arc as well. You can even have it blink where one frame it's not arcing and then it arcs again. This is all adding like added layers to the visual. And then you can have little particles like, so this arc was here. You can have little particles that kind of like hang out in the area after that effect was there. Like the electricity was just right here. You can have it hang out for a little bit. A couple particles. Where else? Over here. Hanging particles. Like where the electricity passed through. And then you can even go back and add even finer hairs. I'm using a 1 brush here. Even finer hairs kind of connecting some of these new arcs together. Really fine. It just makes it look more. It just makes it look more. Look at those particles. You know, collab entry gonna look neat. Collab entry. What? Collab entry. And then we go back, and I like to add like an orb. What I call an orb, like a thick part. No, this is just a solo thing. This is just a solo thing. I like to add like a thick part to it. And this becomes like the actual brain of the movement. This is what is like if the electricity had a personality, right? Or was an entity, to me it's like this little orb. It's the thick part. Because I can't have it be all just stringy, right? Plus, I want something for the glow to kind of like really look nice and bounce off of. So having like a thick part to it is like the brain part. Again, this is like all made up. This isn't like no professor told me this. These are all my own made up rules. So I'm not saying they're right. I'm just saying this is how I do it. Okay, so take it with a grain of salt. Yeah, this is a short where you put your finger, even though this would be a really fun collab. Maybe we save that for another time. But that's it. That's it doesn't look good. Right? Like it's not I mean it looks okay, but by itself it looks kind of weird. It's all the layers. It's all the layers of details coming together, okay? So, now I'm going to go through, I'm going to make every one of these frames a movie clip. And then once they are a movie clip, I'm going to apply a preset of how I like my sparks to look, which really is just two glows. You have a glow here that's 8x, 8y yellow with 148 strength, which none of this matters. It doesn't have to be exact. And then I have an orange with a 1540, 15x, 40y, 100 strength. Again, these don't have to be specific numbers. Those are just the specific numbers I have on my preset. It really just comes down to whatever you think looks nice. And all I'm doing is selecting now that movie clip I made and applying that preset that I like. Now it's starting to look a little bit better, right? It's starting to look a little bit more like electricity. Right? It already looks way better. Now I'm going to take my two radial gradients that are both blend set to add. And I'm going to add them stretching and squishing back and forth. Right? Here's a stretch over the brain of the electricity, the main chunk. Squish, stretch, squish, while also trying to maintain touching the bulk of the electricity. Stretch. Okay, I'm getting a little lost here. It's all right. The main part is I want to get it over the bulk of the brain of the electricity. What's up, Mano? Boom. Oh yeah, making particles fall off the hammer is great. That's another very great way to add more depth to your electricity, for sure. Okay. Okay, then we have our impact circle. We did this earlier. Let's try and get rid of, there we go. Oh, where is it? Is it this guy? Yep, it's this guy. And we can reuse this here. There's no shame in reusing your own creations. This is our impact, right? Right there, yep. And he's standing up a little taller here. I like to kind of like match it with his height and his feet. See that? What's up, Trides? Alright, we got an impact there. And then we also have our circle impact, which I'm trying to find it now. That's not what I want. Oh, maybe it's inside this. That is. Yeah, it's this one right here. We have it start small. This is where the hit occurs. This is a radial gradient that I have expand outwards quickly. And then we drop the alpha on it. Poof, poof. Okay. Then we need our lightning bolts. Just this guy here. And I can show you how we actually create this one from the beginning again. I'll show you. So we'll create a new lightning bolt so it looks more diverse. We don't want... You can reuse your own stuff, but you don't want to use it so much where it becomes recognizable to the viewer. And since the lightning bolt is pretty unique, and it's only a couple frames, sometimes I'll recreate a couple different variations of it just so it doesn't show like, oh, that's just the same graphic, I can tell. Because you don't want to take the immersion out, right? You want to hold that... You want to keep that immersion. So, here's this bolt of electricity coming. This is like a huge thunderbolt coming down, right? Movie clip. Sparks. And this is light. Hold on, was it lightning? Add. Yeah, it was add. I feel like when you do add for this, it makes it look more vibrant. It kind of makes it stand out. So there's the hit, and then I usually like to do like a follow-up hit that makes it look like the lightning bolt is like expanded. So it's like it starts to be thin, and then it like spans outward. Does that make sense? Like it explodes almost. You know what I mean? Like thin, then wide. Thin, then wide. It's like it feels like it explodes. And then I tap the straighten. Straighten is really, really helpful when it comes to like thunder and lightning and electric. Movie clip. Sparks. Add. Boom. As think of it as an explosion rather than just some light. Exactly. Now it's a little wonky right now because he zips off real quick afterwards, but it's okay because we're actually going to freeze frame it right here into our impact frame for a couple frames. So I think we're about at impact frames. Yeah, we are. So 1, 2, 3, I think it is. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I think we did one extra. 1, 2, 3. And again, the same process we did last time. We have a dim frame. Oops, that's not it. Paste the dim frame. Now, 51 minutes already? I know, Jesus. This is only my second one. See, I'm actually really slow. But, whatever. Right? Okay. Now, we trace the highlights. This is the highlights. Again, I am not a professional artist. I have no real training. I'm not good at this. All of those things, okay? So if I'm all of those things, then you can do this too. I'm just simply thinking, okay, it's bright there. So it's probably going to be bright here. That's what I'm thinking. I'll claim to be a pro when I'm making money from doing this. Because that's by definition. When you get a business license, you have to get a professional business license. Why? Because if people are going to pay you for your services, then you are technically a professional because you're getting paid to do something. But I haven't made a dime in animating in probably 10 years. So, I'm not even on paper a professional. Okay, so that's the impact, right? That's roughly where I think it'd be shiny, let's just say. And now I'll make my circle. Come on. I'd like to make the circle at some point in my life. Doesn't have to be perfect. I just like to illustrate where the impact is occurring. Right? Somewhere here. And you kind of just keep pointing to that spot. Doesn't have to be perfect. Crazy how animators worse than you can be considered professional. Yeah. I mean, yeah. That's very real. Technically on paper, you are not considered a professional unless someone is paying you for it. But that's also a very low bar because you don't have to be really good at something to get paid to do it. I learned that when I was getting my business license for web development, and I thought it was funny because I was a young kid. I was just freshly turned 18 years old, and the lady was like, well, what kind of businesses? And I make websites. And she's like, all right, professional web developer. I'm like, well, I'm not really like that great at it. I'm like, I'm I'm okay. And she's like, are people going to be paying you to do this? Well, I said, well, yeah. And she's like, all right, then you're a professional. And in that moment, I was like, oh, God. That's true. Well, that's when I got my business license. When I started, I was your age. I was 13, 14 years old. I made and got paid for my first game when I was 16. 15 or 16. Okay, black background. Stone Web Solutions, yep. Exactly right. Okay, you know the drill. Now I'm blurring slightly on the white axis. We duplicate, add, tint. We do an orange. And then we do another one. And we tint it yellow somewhere. Give me yellow. This palette is weak. Okay, like that. Man is a fossil. I'm about to have 10 years in the community. Dude, I've been doing this on and off now for 20 years. Okay. I'm turning on my seeds. Hold on. So we did the highlights. Now we'll do the lowlights. I'm essentially going to trace the areas where I didn't color it white. See this? Tracing the areas where I did not color it white. Okay. Then I make another circle. But usually I make this one wider and I break it. Like that. See that? Something like this. Endo, what's up, baby? My zappies. This is a little bit better of an example, I think. How are we doing today? And I'm going to ask you what I asked people earlier today. When you woke up, what got you excited about your day? Thanks, buddy. Mm-hmm. You got to lean into your strengths, man. Right now I'm doing the impact frames for this hit. Wait, what? Did I put this on the wrong layer? Hello? I'm animating a giant realistic whale today. Looking forward to it. What? Can you show me? Later. I'm sure you're not doing that because it sounds like the funnest thing in the world to do. I'm sure there's other reasons. Still exciting nonetheless. Oh yeah. You happy with your response you got on your Helldivers? Which came out insane, obviously. Okay. Add tint. And then alpha. Wait, no, tint. Advanced. That's what we're looking for. Super happy and humbled. I love to hear it, dude. Only thing I learned was to watermark the damn thing. It's been ripped off everywhere. Wait, the one you just released? The Helldivers one for real? That pisses me off. Alright, let's see where we're at. Yeah, they once you still end up making more because they don't care and they just market it. They'll market it instead of having like a creative name for something. They'll just be like, big stick figure slam, you know, or whatever. And then since that's more searchable, people end up finding that version of it or whatever. They do, and TikTok shadow banned my post because their bot thought mine was a re-upload. Dude, that's what happened to me and ended my entire career. Did I tell you about this? I'll show you this. So I had another TikTok account, right? For my business. Average Ape Studios. For my Pokemon business. Okay, let me show you. So this is me on TikTok. Whoa, I just searched myself. I didn't even notice that I'm very searched on here. Holy. Okay. Anyways. This is me. Right? Are my videos even go low? What's going on here? What? Okay. So I'm going to show you one video as an example. Okay? I spent about 200 days in a row making content. And the reason why I was making content was because I was going to start doing content work more seriously for the voice actor for Goku, Sean Schemmel, the English voice actor for Goku, Kinkai, Lucario, Crowler. So many does he's, you know him. You've seen his work before, right? So if you're me, you're going to want to get good at editing, right? So at the time, I had a business where I sold Pokemon cards. That's a separate story. I do work for Sean Schemmel on the side. Separate story, okay? But we'll get there, I promise. So I want to get good at editing, right? It's a little short story about part of my life. I want to get good at editing. And so what I did was I'll be like, all right, I'm going to work on making... Yeah, quick tangent. I'm going to work on making my own content. Oh, he would. He will do Dragon... Okay. I can't hard say yes, but I bet you I could show you him something and he'll do something. Give me some lines, Endo. Give me some lines to send him. I'm almost positive he'd be down. Almost positive he'd be down. Okay. Separate. Okay, we'll talk about it. Almost confident that he'll say yes. Okay? Yeah, 100%. Okay, but so I said I'm gonna start making content. So I spent a month investigating Pokemon content, and I didn't really like any of the Pokemon content that was out there, right? So I started to come up with a couple ideas of my own, and every single day I made a video. It would take me 3 to 5 hours every single day. I would start at 10 o'clock at night, and I'd go to bed at like 3 or 4 in the morning. I did it every day, initially for 30 days. And I said every single video I make, I'm going to make it 1% better, right? So my videos slowly started to get good. They started off awful. But I slowly started to pick up momentum. And then, fast forward like a year and a half, I'm one of the biggest voices for Pokemon content on TikTok. As far as content that's being put out, people are loving my content. I even helped release TikTok Shop for trading cards. TikTok reached out to me personally to help be some of the first people to showcase and sell TikTok Shop, right? And I sold millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars of product, not my own product, through linking other companies by making videos around their products on stuff that I was very knowledgeable, because at this point I had done 8 years plus of day in, day out buying and selling Pokemon cards for my entire career, right? So if you look at these posts, a lot of these say, almost all of them say, on this day, on this day, on this day, on this day, on this day. On this day is simply a memories thing. It's a thing that says like, oh, you posted this last year today. And the reason why I couldn't do this, the reason why they're all on this day posts, is because people started stealing my content so much that anything I uploaded, it said that I was the one who was copying other people's work. I tried to do an appeal, and nothing would become of it, right? I'm still like 2 years later, I'm waiting on them to get back to me. So I thought, okay, what if I just make a new account and let me experiment with some other content? So I made like investigative, almost like mystery stories. You know, like if you do a story about a murder mystery or whatever, I did something similar to that. Totally different account, totally different subject matter, everything. But I used all the skills that I'd earned. The problem is even then when I'm uploading, it still thought that I was copying another person's content, because the system understood my face and my voice. So when these people had stolen my content and uploaded it directly so many times, it literally stole my face and my voice. It didn't matter if I made a new account. It didn't matter if I made it on different subject matter. I was using my face and my voice. So let me give you an example of how bad my videos were in the beginning, and then I'll show you how much better they got, and maybe you can discern from that kind of my growth. So this, I'm not even going to show you all of the way one of my older videos because they're so bad they make me embarrassed. But let me see one of the earliest ones that are still like within the same type of thing. So like right here.
Hey Pokemon fans, have you heard about the confused War Turtle error card from base set? If you're not familiar with the Pokemon trading card game, you should know that one of the key mechanics is evolution. Pokemon evolves, it changes into a more mature form from within its evolutionary line. So for example, a War Turtle evolves from a Squirtle. But on this particular error card, something went a little bit wrong.
You're going to see the stark difference on how much better they get.
Left-hand corner like it's supposed to. It shows another War Turtle. Whoops! Looks like misprints run in the War Turtle family.
The audio's kind of dull. There's too much text on the screen. No sound effects. The video quality is actually pretty bad. The lighting is bad.
Still a rare and valuable error card sought by many collectors. So if you come across one of these little guys, don't miss your opportunity to.
And it's also not structured very well. It's not very interesting. Then cut to this one here.
The top 3 Togepi cards ever. Number 1 has to be a joke. There's no way a Togepi card that goes for nearly $5,000. Starting off with number 3. This one isn't actually from the TCG. It's a Japanese promo from 1999. Part of this card's value comes from its extreme difficulty to grade, with only 8 PSA 10s in the world, and PSA 10 sold listings at $305. Meiji Togepi embossed promo. So rare it only averages 1 sale per year. Next, at number 2. Once again, another Japanese promo. This time, something super unique. All Nippon Airways had a promotion between September 1st and October 31st of 2000, where people could redeem their boarding passes for this card. With a pop report of only 30 PSA 10s.
I spent a lot of time on these videos.
$750. Togepi All Nippon Airways promo. Yo, what's with that logo though? Who approved that? And lastly, at number 1, if you like this content, be sure to leave a like and a comment of a Pokemon you want to see a top 3 of all time for. The price jump here is tremendous. This was only part of a really popular vintage promo series, with a pop report of only 17 PSA 10s in
let
the
me
world,
finish.
and sold listings at nearly $5,000. Southern Islands Togepi Holo promo. The top 3 Togepi cards.
So I got way better at it, right? But it didn't matter, because no matter what I post now will immediately be shadow banned, which essentially means that it's not going to show it to anyone other than the people you hand it out to, like privately link it to. And I made a lot of content, like a lot of content. You can see I sold, so like, let me see if I can find the one. There's a couple here that have like a few million views. The ones that have okay, like this one here.
The long-awaited Charizard EX Premium Collection Box is here. There's something about it.
Look at all this editing, dude.
Talking about. This product has something in it that no other Pokemon product release has had before. If you're looking to make your Obsidian Flames Master Set, you'll need to.
Nazul got to watch the whole process.
The promos, the 6-packs and sleeves, 2 Obsidian Flames packs, 2 Paldea Evolved, and 2 Scarlet and Violet. The sleeves, but it also comes with something brand new, direct from the
It's a
Pokemon
lot.
company. Display case and base. Dude, that is sick. Click the TikTok shop.
So back when these were available, I was working with this company, and this company had like $500,000 worth of these. They sold out in like 2 days off of this video.
Icon below, and grab your Charizard EX collection box from the Game Capital for the best price I could find on TikTok shop from a trusted and reliable seller. The long-awaited.
That's what I was doing. But then all of that was pretty much just rug pulled from me completely. But the plus side is I got really good at editing. Yeah. But anyways, that's what I was doing. But that's why I wasn't doing what I'm doing now with you guys. But it got to the point where they took my literal face and voice. They can't take my editing skills, but they can take my face and my voice. So and I built my whole image on my face and my voice. And, you know, when you're trying to deal with something like TikTok, you're only talking to representatives that are copying and pasting automated responses, or just an automated response system, or no response at all. So you really don't have any recourse, you know? But that does bring up something interesting what you said, though, about lines for Dragon. I'm gonna... Okay. Is there anything that you can send? What should I show Sean? Because now I don't know why I didn't even think about this. I've actually been talking with Sean about stick figure related stuff. He even sent me yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before? He sent me on TikTok. Look, I'll show you. He sent me on TikTok Nazul's animation. Look, I'm not joking. Sean Schimmel, TikTok. He sent me Nazul's animation. And so yeah. We've been talking about stick figure stuff. That's all I can say about that. But he sent me Nazul's thing, and I had to tell him that because I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. Yeah, I told him. But now I totally forgot about Dragon through the lens of like maybe he'd be interested in doing some lines for it, but what would he say? And should I just link him Dragon Dragon? Like the old one? Is there like a highlight thing that I could send him? It's 10 years old. That's crazy that this is 10 years old. So what? Okay, I want to be able to say, hey, would you be interested in doing some lines or voicing something that is like stick figures doing Dragon Ball Z things funny? But I don't know what. He's gonna follow up and ask me what would I say. I'm gonna try to. I want to like send him. Okay, I gotta send him your part, dude. Okay, we gotta link it right here. Okay. I'm gonna do it right now. I'm gonna do it right now before we forget. I can't promise anything. He might say no. Because he's really protective of the Dragon Ball IP, obviously, because he loves and respects it, as he should, and as he does tremendously. So I can't make any promises based around that. But I'm going to send him this link. And I'm going to say... my very talented friends made this years ago and plan on making another that I'm participating in as well. I wanted to hear your thoughts and if you might be willing to participate creatively as well. It's a collaborative animation around our love for DBZ. You should show them the intro teaser too? Okay, I will. With a funny twist. Using stick figures. I linked the old one right at a really good part of it. I'm texting, so it's harder. Hold on. I linked the old one right at a really good part of it so you could get a taste. Feel free to watch the whole thing. Paste. My very talented friends made this years ago and plan on making another that I'm participating in as well. I wanted to hear your thoughts and if you might be willing to participate creatively as well. Creatively. It's a collaborative animation around our love for DBZ with a funny twist using stick figures being hilarious. Alright, there you go. I sent it! I don't know what it'll say, but I sent it. Dragon Dragon teaser. I'll send him the teaser after he sees that. Because I don't want to send him too much stuff at all at once, because he'll just click the last link. Oh. No. No. Endo, why are you un-YouTubeable? Am I broken? Bro, what is happening? There's no way. What am I doing wrong? I'm just gonna put Endo. Endo, why? It's Inido? You're lying to me. That's a typo. You're lying. Endo stick figure. Okay. It's literally just Endo. That's not what I was trying to click. What? Is it? Did you not post it on your own? Did you not post it on your own? Is it only on Hunt's Dojo? Bro, what? Why is this like not searchable? Am I blind? Am I blind, bro? There's no way. I don't remember being this far back. It's on here, isn't it? Am I crazy? Bro, what is going on? Is somebody gonna link it to me? Am I being stupid? Like, no one's saying anything. It wasn't posted for real? Oh, it was on the Dojo Cast for your episode? Maybe that's what it was. And you weren't that long ago, were you? Bro, what?
Hello. Welcome.
Good morning.
The allergies are going insane.
Hola.
Good
Hello.
morning, you guys. Wait, is it morning? It's the afternoon.
Good evening.
Bruh. Why is it so hard to find?
Oh, what year is it right now? Oh,
This is so crazy. Hyun Stutter 2 reveal collab. Oh, that's right. Okay, it wasn't your episode. But how did we watch it? Was it just a private link?
yeah.
So
And
so nice. Really clean.
Love his exact. Oh, her style is remind me like 3 times. Big.
Oh, the music already. Oh.
in like a previous Dojo Cast too.
Listen.
When you-
Why is it Yo.
And then
That I have to do.
you're
Out of everyone. Donuts.
And I'm like, dude, it's over.
Yeah.
Hopeless. Was
I don't know. I'm just scraping to
Yes.
see if we can find it. I don't know. Either way, I thought it was early on too. Oh, this is it.
Now, dragon, arise!
Oh my god, dude. Oh my god, this is so nuts, dude.
What?
Oh, dude, that might be even too close to the IP.
Here goes.
It's so good, dude. Oh my god. Okay, I'll leave this here for now. I gotta continue working, but I'll let you know what he says. Because he might think it's hilarious. Yeah, long story short, I had my own comic book and card store, right? My buddy used to write comic books for a living. And one of his comic books was being turned into a movie. And one of the people who auditioned to be the voice for the movie, because it's going to be animated, was Sean Schemmel. Then COVID hit, or then we had Sean Schemmel at my store to do a signing. And then COVID hit, and Sean was talking to my buddy and was like, I want to get online. Like, I want to start streaming. And he's like, oh, we got to talk to Travis Stone for you guys, me, because he's been doing this stuff forever. And then I got in contact with him, and we worked together for years. I helped set up his stream room. I helped get him all of his materials for streaming. Did editing on his YouTube videos, things like that. I'm like his web editor guy. Like the YouTube video, if you go to Sean Games and stuff, it's genuinely insane. So like these are the videos that I edited for him. Like in this video we're playing Diablo 3 together.
I am stuck in this pole.
Here.
Do this, man. I'm ready. Let's do it.
This is when we were both playing Diablo 3 a lot.
I just leveled. Oh wait, we got a pylon. Oh snap! Hit it.
Later, Nas.
Here is a chest. Maybe I can have some reusable parts.
Oh, goblins right here.
my head follow him, I wonder? Let's see.
All right, we're going to play now. Oh, I just leveled again.
Oh, we went to another room.
Wait, I hear a treasure goblin. Hey, here he is. Oh man, there's a whole bunch.
Yeah. So I did his editing and stuff. We haven't done anything in a minute, but he's just been busy with his normal work stuff and doing less streaming, but he still wants to get back at it. And whenever he is, my whole thing was I was just trying to get better as an editor in the meantime. But we had a lot of fun making the videos. And he's genuinely hilarious. But it is such an impossible, like, thing to have happened, you know? Like, it's not lost on me that at one point in my life, I drew stick figures for a living, then sold Pokemon cards, and then, you know, met my childhood hero and hung out with him and worked with him on various different creative projects. It's really doesn't make sense. And if I were to describe it to people, it only gets like going from animating stick figures for a living, which was supposed to be impossible, and then somehow that segued into making videos with the voice actor who voiced Goku from my childhood is a pretty trippy segue. And that's why I always scream at the top of my lungs that people need to follow their dreams and listen to that little voice in their head that tells them to do something because it seems fun. You know? Because if I can do it, all of my very talented friends definitely can do amazing things. Your start's such a roller coaster. OG RHE, man. Living legend. Got shadow banned from your community. Out of contract. Open your own store. Got robbed. Then came back stick figure. Yeah. You gotta roll with the punches, man. You know? It's a very strange path. I remember you talking about it on your episode of the cast. It's awesome. Yeah, it's very, very strange, man. I'm still very grateful for everything that I've ever had and been able to achieve. I'm sure I would have been allowed to interact with the community, but I just knew that it would never be. I would never last long. Like even when I came back, where you guys see me now, I told Hyun I kind of want to like just stay in the background, and it took less than a day, and I was like in the forefront of a bunch of things. So I just didn't trust that I would be able to do that. Yeah, always inspiring, son. It's crazy to think that I remember back in the day the baseball collab, and you said you liked my animation for it, and it was so huge for me. See, that is the one thing that I learned that my actual skill set is. I don't know what the effect I have. I don't know where it comes from, but I know that I have a positive impact on people, and that's all I want to do. Is I want to be able to be that positive impact for people that so many of you have been for me. You know, I don't know where it comes from me to you. I just know that it occurs, and I think that's like the most important thing. Like you even just saying that means that meant something to you, and because it was big, it had a profound positive effect on you, and that is what matters the most to me. I've never been the best stick figure animator. I'm not even close. And when I realized that wasn't my actual skill, my skill is just showing people how amazing they can be, that's what my focus shifted to. And it worked. Like, people grew incredibly. And so many people now do either something creative as a living, or continued animation and do that as a job, and have built huge careers off of it. And to me, that's the coolest thing in the world. And that's why I always scream at the top of my lungs how insanely talented all my friends are. And I just gave up trying to understand how it stems from me in any way, and just accepted that sometimes it just does. And I just got to keep putting myself out there. The toxic thing is I don't do well in front of people. I don't socialize well in front of people. I don't typically like being in front of people or around people. And I've made it my mission to try and fix that and put myself out there. Like today, I'm supposed to just be animating right now. And I knew I'd be animating regardless if I was live or not. But the reason why I'm animating live with you guys is because I'm holding myself... I'm trying to get myself out there because I know if you had the ability, if you were confident that you had the ability that you positively affect people's lives just by doing whatever it is you're doing, even if you don't understand it, why would you not do that? That's my take. You know? If you can positively impact people's lives by just doing whatever it is you're doing, you should probably just do that. So that's why I'm live. That's why I do the things that I do. That's why I reach out and talk to different animators and try to boost people up, is because it's such a little thing for me to do. Like, it doesn't take anything out of my day or out of my life. It doesn't expend anything for me. But for other people, it could be so profound. And I think that that is something that needs to be utilized. You know? I love you guys too, man. I don't think you understand. Because you only see one version of me. You see like the lighter, bubblier version of me. But that's because I am doing the thing that I love. And I feel as though it has a positive impact on people. And I see it time and time and time and time again. It's been proven over and over and over and over again that it does. And so many, like, the crazy thing is the world has changed from that. Like, there's a tangible change in the world based off of ideas that I had when I was a kid, decisions I made that didn't hurt anybody. You know what I mean? Like thinking about the RHG and putting the RHG system out there didn't harm anybody. And there's people who have now, from that little web of events, spun into entire careers off of characters they've made, or spun into an animation that inspired somebody to work on the shows that inspire other people that that you watch, you know, animes you watch and stuff. That's insane. And that's never lost on me, ever. It's never lost on me. I really, my biggest struggle is I really don't understand it. You know? I really don't understand it. But I know it happens. And I struggle with it a lot in in real life, because the same effect happens in person, like with people that I'm around. You know, like when I had my store was like a physical version of Fluid Anims. You know, there was like a second home to a lot of people. And I felt like I failed everyone when I couldn't keep my store open anymore, because it was so important to so many people. And not in a way of like acquiring product, but as a means to like quite literally a second home. Like a positive place people wanted to be. And so, since I can't really do that anymore, I try to do that now, being back to my stick figure roots, which I'm so happy to be here with you guys now. It's given me... Losing that gave me the ability to come back here. Does that make sense? Like, losing... Like, if that didn't... Think about it this way. If that didn't happen to me, I wouldn't be animating in live with you guys right now. If my content wasn't stripped from me, I wouldn't be talking to you. I wouldn't be animating right now. Four times the artist because of me? I don't know that's true. But, because I'm sure you would be amazing regardless. You know, but... I just got to figure out how to make this my full-time job. Because this is what I want to do. I like doing what I'm doing right now. But like I said, I haven't made a dime from animation in 10 years. 15 years, maybe more. Civic community, especially Hyun's, I wouldn't have met Zakes, who taught me what I know about color and helped me with my animations. That's crazy. See, like, that's tangible, real-life positive impact. If you knew yourself that you had that ability, and when you would do something, that it would have unknown positive effects, wouldn't you want to keep doing it? Even if it was difficult for you to do? That's where I'm stuck. It's a hell of a butterfly effect. It is. What's up, gamer? Just like if Alan got hired from Pixar, he wouldn't be popular. And Hyun's dad didn't show him Zhao Zhao, he wouldn't be... Exactly. It's insane how influential stick figures have been in shaping my life. And I think the core of that is people showing passion about something they love. And showing that you can do it too. And I think, stick figures aside, that is where the magic comes from. Stick figures are just the vehicle on how you arrive there. It's the fact that you're witnessing people do something that they love purely because they love to do it and it brings them joy, and you want a piece of that feeling because it's something that you feel that you could do as well. And you can. I animate a large part of my recent vid while watching your streams. Really? See, that's what I want these streams to be about. I want people to hang out and engage, obviously, but like I want you to be able to sit here and go, like, do your chores, do your laundry, animate on a project, and just not feel so by yourself, you know? That's why I'm doing it. I'd be making this right now if I wasn't live, but why not do it live if I can? It is unreal. The competitive nature of RHG to drive an upper opponent just sends it. Exactly. It's a perfect mixture. I had the biggest brain blast in my mind when I don't know how old I was. Like I was like 15 or 16 years old, right? And I sat down and I didn't do anything, but I don't write at all. Like I'm not a writer, but I sat down and it was typing, but I just typed and typed and typed and typed and typed for like 12 hours straight because I was so excited. I felt like I somehow struck gold in my brain, and the vision in my mind was so incredibly clear. And I felt like I could see people creating characters and other characters like jumping into other characters' universes, and then people's different styles executing the same animation, the same character through different styles, because back then everyone's stick figures were the styles were so diverse because we didn't know what we were doing. And I got so excited. I'm like, oh my god, like I would literally think, like, what if Endo animated Andre? What would that look like? That would be so cool. You know, like back then it wasn't Andre, it was whatever character I had. But that's what got me excited, because then I was like, oh my god, then people are going to continuously want to animate their characters all the time. And they're going to want to not only battle some of the more popular ones, but they're going to try to make their character be as cool as possible. And it's going to give them that spark to like keep going. It's not going to be like they just sit down, turn on their computer, and they're like, oh my god, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to animate. Oh yeah, let's go then. I'm kidding, I'm so busy, I know. But it was so clear to me. I saw, it was like, I had like a vision, dude. I was so ecstatic. I felt like I could see the future. I feel like I could see so many different things connecting. But no real confidence that like, that for sure was gonna end up the way it was, you know, it did. But it just felt so real and so tangible, and I just went for it. And then now here we are, you know? But I was a kid. And that part's not lost on me either. Like, you guys are kids too. Some of you are kids. And that there's nothing, genuinely, nothing special about what I did. And from the standpoint of like, I wasn't an exceptional kid. I wasn't some like, I mean, I got good grades, but it wasn't like I was like a savant or something at anything. And if I could just be creative about something, share that creativity with other people, and, you know, truly everyone else puts in the work and goes from there, you totally can too. Thanks for reminding me you're about to be 30. You're only about to be 30? Oh my. I didn't think you were that much younger than me, Jumbo. Oh. Only now the style differences are so drastic and artistic rather than skill. The concept itself is good. What you described is the exact reason why I became interested in the community. Rock Hard Coliseum was the best possible introduction into the community, which is so crazy. I only had negative responses about Rock Hard Coliseum when it came out, as far as like the people who were like paying me to do it. It was not seen as something like good. So it's so nice to see that like people really actually did enjoy it in the end. I'm adding a little more particles this time to this one. I love seeing all of you guys come back here too. Like, not only just all of the new people that have now become regulars in the stream, but all my friends now that I've known for... I can't believe I've known you guys. We've never met, but I've known you for, like, at minimum 15 years. Like, that is crazy. And it's not just like a Facebook friend where it's like, yeah, you added somebody on Facebook or something 100 years ago and you don't even know who their name is. But technically you've been, you know, friends on Facebook for 15 years. It's like we have tangible moments that we definitely have shared and remembered in our lives in different ways, which is so wild. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Okay, that's gonna be tasty. I've been on YouTube for over half my life, dude. Yeah. Same. I've been on the internet for almost 2/3 of my life. This one's gonna look cool. That's a cool frame. Look how good we got off of just having filters. Filters are such a gift. Some of you have been together longer than some people have been alive in the dojo, yeah. Yeah, the filters do carry. If you're utilizing them right, they certainly carry. What's wild to me is that I recently helped a 14-year-old kid get his Duelist application together so it would be accepted by mods because it was such a mess. See, that's the best part. People just helping each other to help each other. The world needs more of that. The world needs a lot of that, actually. Yeah, 14, dude. You can get started in this stuff so young. just from the Dojo Cast, we've seen that the majority of people seem to get started in art and animation at 10 to 12 years old in some way or form. Yeah, we were all united by our shared interest of stick violence, which is so funny because I don't see it as violence. Do you feel the same way? Like, even we can make the goriest, gnarliest fight combo, blood bursting, gory. I don't see it as violence at all. I don't see it. I don't know why. I see it only as fun and cool, but not actually, like, not actually violent. I could literally make it like, I can't describe it because it's obviously inherently violent, but I don't see it as violent at all. Like I know it's violence, but I don't see it that way for whatever reason. My bowls. I think it's a good example of this are those collabs like Kill KJ or Kill Jin or whatever else. It's violent, but it's fun. Exactly. Like, I'm not trying to kill somebody. I'm not thinking, oh, I'm so angry inside. I just want to do violence to these random stick figures. It's not at all that way. I have a plan to get a degree to allow me to teach because I know the high school that I went to and still live near as an animation program and desperately needs a better animation teacher. You know what's funny is I did that. I actually did that. Okay, so another story. Here's another story of my part of my life. So I was probably 19 years old, I think. 19 years old, fresh out of high school. And I started at my local community college. And at my local community college, I was taking a course on graphic design. And in the graphic design course, it was web design. And I was killing it. Because at the time, I'd already been making websites, and I'd already made fluid anims, right? I actually used, if you guys remember, some of you have no chance of remembering, but like John Book might remember. Do you remember when fluid anims had like the navigation bar that looked kind of like this? And the buttons like popped out at you when you hovered them? It was like, it was literally like this. You might remember this. And the buttons popped out and it made like a tuk-tuk. That was I did that as part of my web design class to showcase what I could do. And from that, my school, that class and that teacher that I was taking the class in, the school then hired me to teach the class how to do this. And at that moment, I realized I don't need to be going to school anymore. Because the school was talking about paying for my tuition to take the courses necessary, bare minimum courses necessary, so that I can become a teacher at the school to teach Flash. And then from that, because I did the job, I went there and I taught like a couple classes in my class on how to do Flash and how to do web design with Flash. I got hired from one of the other people in that class who was a teacher at a local school, a local elementary school, and she hired me for a 6-week program where I taught gifted elementary kids how to animate. And so for 6 weeks at a local elementary school, I developed a small lesson plan, and I taught like 30 kids how to animate, like in person. And they were like the gate kids, like the gifted, and they did it after school. So I was able to get 20-30 kids in a classroom after school for 6 weeks, and I taught them how to animate. And I was 19. I'm a kid. Look back, like at the time I didn't think I was a kid, but I was a kid. I was 19 years old, I was a kid. I didn't know what I was doing. You know what I mean? I didn't really know what I was doing, but the kids loved it. I wonder if any of those kids are hovering around the dojo nowadays. I have no idea. They definitely would be, I mean, they definitely would be in their late 20s at this point, mid 20s. Jewel, what's up, buddy? Yeah, so I did that too. That was, by the way, while I was doing Fluid Anims. So like I was doing that in the middle of working at the coffee shop, going to school, and then I did that and Fluid Anims. The entirety of all of my stick figure stuff prior to coming back, including Fluid Anims, Rock Art Anims, and everything that you can imagine that happened in that era, all happened before I was 21 years old. I was 9 when I got into animation in like 2013, and I think because of RHC on Sick Page, it made me discover the RHC world and made me want to make stick figures so bad. RHC just had such an allure. That's crazy. Yeah, they never told me anything about RHC. Running Community at 19 is pretty wild on its own. Yeah, that's 19 was the end of it. I was 16, 15 no, I was 14 when I made rockhardanims.com. I think 14 or 15. So I had already been running my own company for about 6 or 8 years before I became an adult. And then, oh yeah, the entirety of it happened before I was 21. I actually discovered stick figures in my animation class because I was searching so many Flash tutorials and the stick figures hit that I found the one iconic Nemesis collaboration. I love how far people have to dig to get to the point where they can overlap, you know? I remember Jeff was like 22 and I was thinking, my God, man, you're old. I know, dude. This is looking sick, by the way. Like, I'm actually happy with this. I made the mistake of discovering RHC and JoJo's early, but never anime until years later. On the bright side, I matured, but dang, I missed out. You didn't miss out. Like, the thing is what you guys don't realize is when RHC was created, it was not even a year later people thought they'd missed the boat. And that it's like all the greatest animations and all the greatest characters are now made. Like, I don't think you realize you are right now, today, at the very beginning cutting edge. Like, the internet itself is only like 30 years old. And the average person, like regular person, hasn't been using the internet for that long. You could thank MySpace.com for bringing like your average person onto the internet. The combination of cell phones, smartphones becoming the normal phone, only a couple years after that, you are literally on the beginning of 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 the beginning. You are just barely the human race having picked up their first stick and put it in a tree to find bugs when it comes to this stuff. The first RJ related video I ever watched was Shadow Rose versus Shura around like 2015, 2016. You only joined last month? Waddle? I think there's a lot more lurkers out there too. I think I really joined the community like at the tail end of the whole era. It's crazy that I was barely too late to join on all that stuff. I'm still shy about joining the dojo. You don't have to worry about it. I am probably the shyest person that you would meet. It just doesn't seem that way. I promise it's all in your head. And you would be very surprised because you got to remember when you are finding a community of people who have like interest in you, they're going to be a lot more understanding in a lot of ways than you think. Of course, that doesn't mean everybody. That goes with anywhere, but just be yourself anywhere. Shadow Rose versus Shura. God, Shadow Rose is such a beautiful animator. His character was such a gentleman. Honestly, wish he'd still upload content, but he works for Alan and Gilded nowadays. I didn't even know that. You have to be willing to be the fool. You know? I honestly think that's what I'm good at. I show people that it's okay to like not know what you're doing and just go for it. At no point in any of the things I've ever done did I first have full confidence to even know what I was doing. Like when I was doing graphic design and web design and animation, I didn't go to school for any of that. I was literally sitting there thinking, oh, stickslaughter.com is cool, but I really wish they were more active in the community. I really wish there was more creative things going on. I really wish they had like creative events and tournaments, and I was like, you know what? Why don't I just make my own website? With my whole chest, I just said that. With zero idea, none on how to make a website. Nothing at all. Not what makes a website, how do you get a domain, what even is it? Nothing. I didn't know anything. And then within 2 weeks later, I have the domain, I have the hosting, and I was making graphics on my website. You know? You just have to go for it. If you're excited about something and it like sparks joy within your body, that is your nervous system telling you that's the thing you're supposed to do. Everything else that you doubt after that is your low density human idiot self being like, well, I can't, I shouldn't. When your body, that joy you feel when you have that idea, is screaming at you to do it. I'm a person who stay at home all day. For some reason, I loved animation and despise sleeping. I will kill the amount of minutes of sleep because I have to animate. That's called revenge, sleep revenge, and I did that. I suffered with that forever. I do the same thing. Actually, I would actually think that the majority of you here probably do the same thing. Do you find yourself staying up late at night to do the thing that you want to do because you feel like throughout the entirety of the day you didn't get to do the things you wanted to do, even though you actually didn't consciously choose things that you wanted to do? You just had this feeling that not until everyone goes to sleep do you actually get to like feel like you're finally starting your day, even though it's 11:30 at night. You're like, oh, finally, I get to just do what I want to do. Even though technically nothing has changed other than maybe most of everyone has gone to bed. Yeah, it's called sleep revenge. That is what I've been battling for 15, 20 years, 30 years, maybe my whole life. I don't know. Yeah, it's because you feel like when you're tapped into other people's energies, not even just locally, but like regionally, like you understand that not only in your household, but around you, the world is awake. And so you're kind of like on edge, prepared to do other things for other people, even on a small scale, whether it's, hey, can you go have dinner with us, or you know, just being around people. There's certain requests that you might have of you to do, minor, major, or otherwise, doesn't matter. But then everyone goes to sleep, and even though you are tired, you will exchange the peace that you get from being isolated and not having a bunch of people around you or awake. You will exchange that tiredness for your peace insanity of having time to yourself. For 15 years, I got like 3 or 4 hours of sleep a night because I would go to bed at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and I'd wake up at 7, 8 in the morning the same day. Bed at 3 or 4 a.m., up at 8 a.m. Recently, I've been staying up to 3, 4 a.m., waking up in the middle of the day. It's not what I want, but late night discussions and creative brainstorm makes me so happy. Exactly. Yeah, it's called sleep revenge. And like I said, I guaranteed that there would be at least some of you in here that'd be the same as me, because you probably, like me, are tuned into the energy of people around you. And it's not until those energies are quieted down that you get to fully be yourself, whether it's creatively or just energetically. You're free to do what you want to do. I go to bed at 4 a.m., wake up to 12 to 3. See, I couldn't get... I was already in a full-grown adult with responsibilities that don't allow me to sleep at all. So like I was the same way. I would go to bed at 3 or 4, but then, you know, I had Hudson when we were like, what, 24? You know, so like when you have a kid that's 1 year old, he's gonna wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning. I can't sleep in till 3, you know, and I knew that, but I would still make the choice to stay up till 2 or 3 in the morning and then wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning because I had to. I would just do it, and I would do that multiple days in a row. You know, the talk of the old days got me thinking of weird phenomena. I made animations and was really interactive with the community in 2016, 2018, then dropped out due to controversy that killed my motivation and work to animate. Now that I came back for a month or so, people are recognizing people who I've never met. Yeah, you'll never understand the impact that you can have on somebody. And I'm not just talking about me, I'm talking about you. Like all of you. You'll never understand the impact that you could be having on someone's life when you are living your true joyful self. When you are doing the thing that you love to do, the power behind that has on people that you may not even know is unbelievable. And I've been trying to tell people that for years. I'm realizing this should have one frame where he's like off screen and then like that. Yeah. Yeah, that's better. Coaster Rider, what's up, baby? Internet is back, finally good. I'm bigger in the AVA community, and it's so wild seeing people who I've never met talking about me. Welcome back. The internet is a beautiful thing in bringing people together that otherwise would never probably ever meet, but should because of their likeness in ways that they can share who they are with others that only the people in random places throughout the entire planet could truly love and appreciate on a level that people around you may not actually be capable of sharing with you. Does that make sense? That's why I love the internet. Okay, now we gotta do the impact frame. There's so many stick figure tournaments I've seen, and people like Blue Cube, who I recently saw the dojo, probably didn't realize how much they inspired us stick tournament lovers. Stick tournament. Blue Cube? I don't know those. Those are keywords I don't know of. At least off the top of my head. Impact frame time. Sorry for the constant asking. The music is scratching itch. What name? No problem. This is Funk Soul by Infraction. It is number... I actually talked about you today. It is number 47 on the playlist. Are they really? Are they really? I have like major imposter syndrome, which I didn't even know was what that meant for a long time, but I have it really bad. When it comes to my animation stuff, man, I have it real bad. I get over it just by being like, I accept that I'm not as good as I think I am, or more so, I'm not as good as I want to be. That's probably more accurate. And I just accept that I'm not good, but I will make the things that I like to make, and at the very least, I'll be happy making it. That's where I'm at. I think my lack of confidence comes from my lack of consistency. Like, I feel like I can't... Like, if I do something really good, like, or I think that I'm like, oh, wow, I animated something, like, that I really like, I feel like my issue comes from the fact that it feels like I can't repeat it. You know? Like, it was a one-of-one moment. Happy accidents. Yeah, it's I get happy accidents a lot then, where it's like, oh my god, who did that? How did I do that? Where did that come from? I actually have no clue how I ended up in that spot. That's when I like when somebody teaches me something. Like, what I'm doing right now, I learned this from Teleperte. He helped me do the impact frames on Andre's Arena when I was basically, I would go live in the Discord, the Dojo Discord, and he helped me in, because I was like, I want to do impact frames, and he helped me do this like simple impact frame. And he described it just how I'm describing it to you. I used to make stuff because I thought it looked cool and it was fun to do. Honestly, it's super important. Yeah. Man, I wonder how much working for Stickpage added to those feelings. I did not have a good experience. Yeah, I really never felt like I was in a good place with what I was working on, what I was doing, or how I was doing it. I really had no supervision, and also no guidance. So it kind of just left me like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And then at the end of it, I would just be like, okay, this is what I've done. And it'd be like, well, I guess that's all right, you know, or that's not really what we were looking for, but it's fine, I guess. And then I would just move on to the next thing. And so I just never really felt good about any of the things I was doing. But I love when I can like recreate something. Like these impact frames, I feel like I'm doing something because I feel like I'm actually recreating something. I feel like there's a consistency in what I'm creating here. That it's not just a fluke, a one-of-one moment where I'm tapped into like flow state. I'm actually replicating something. Let me see. I did miss your story. You know, the wildest thing happened to me and my dojo duels. It's my second dojo duel ever, and I'm still learning how to make things look good. And this wildly talented artist, Klubo, challenges challenge me, right? So of course I accept, not because I know I can win, but because I want to see my character animate by this talented man. Man's also on a winning streak, so we battle, we get our anims out. When I watch his, it's a full Yu-Gi-Oh reference. Our characters never hit each other once. And while his skills surpassed mine, my entry won because you could see me getting better as the animation went on, like it was an actual fight, and I broke his streak. See, that's super cool. I love that. That is super cool. And you can't lose either way. Like, the fact that you came from the perspective of, like, it's not about winning or losing. It's about, like, how exciting it's going to be to see somebody else animate your character, and how fun it's going to be to animate their character. You have the confidence of knowing your own character, but then the excitingness of how it's going to interact with the new character you're coming up against, you know? That is the beauty of it. I forgot to do the hammer on these previous strikes. He butchered your character's hairline. Like I said before, the story is motivating for some people who, like me, who hasn't really put anything out yet. Yeah, like I said, you'll never know the kind of impact you can have on other people. Most of this is going to be off screen, so I'm not trying to be too careful or picky about it. Later, Coaster. 1,000 bad drawings in us. Better get them out sooner rather than later. Yeah, exactly. If you're enjoying the process along the way, that also makes it a lot easier. Thank you for being here, man. I appreciate you coming out. You're too kind, Coaster. Okay, now I'm starting to like the animation a little bit better. I think this added like effects at the end here makes it feel nice. But my character, who was also named Surtex, was so fucking boring backstory-wise, and the character I wrote as companions were far more compelling. A rich kid who ate rice and got a gem, good with fists, also his skin can change into different materials like metals. You can always rewrite to try to make it more interesting later on. Yeah, exactly. Traumatized Ruby, traumatized android who had her memories wiped so she can live a normal life. Yeah, the beauty is changing and evolving as you evolve as a person and as an animator over time. That's what makes it more interesting. I'm really happy with this. I feel like the viewer's gonna like this. Electricity, eye candy. Exactly. Eye candy was all I was ever good at. Make things look pretty. What is this song? I like this song. I just downloaded it from Spotify. Where does it go? You won't be able to play this offline. Oh, it's not downloading it. Oh. I feel like this song would be good for this animation. But I have no more interest in telling their stories, so what I've taken, what I've learned from them, and have written Bonnie Baker, which Stone, you've seen some of the opening clips for recently. See, I've never been good with storytelling stuff. Like, as far as, like, animation is concerned. I feel like I have a lot of story in me that I'm just gonna wait until I have a better ability to tell stories, you know? So don't tell stories until you're good at telling stories. That's not how it works. I know. I mean, more so until I'm good at animating stories. I'm not good at character acting. I'm not good at changing angles. I'm not good at... there's so many things that go to telling a good story and making a good gripping animation with the story that that's not where I'm at yet. So if I feel like I have good lore or something, I might showcase it in a way that I'm good at, in a way that I want to, and then as I get better at animation over time, if I get to the point where I feel confident in having dialogue and things of that nature, I will then go the route where I start telling a story. I think the best way is to just dive right in and make 6 along the way. That's super helpful. I agree. I wholeheartedly agree with my whole chest. That is 1000% correct. And I will get there. I know that will happen. But I'm not forcing it. Right now, these are the kind of things I like to do. Like, I'd love to do like a whole story arc thing that goes into like Andre's story and how he gets the hammer and his relationship to the hammer, what it all means. But not yet. I'm okay letting it just simmer there, you know? And tell simple stories, start practicing. Yes, I agree. It will happen. I'm 100% right with you. And it will happen. Yeah. I suck at drawing realistic things like cars, but I break it down and absorb it into my style. Yeah. And that's 100% the best way to do it. Yeah, maybe one day I'll tell the story of the hammer. Alright, we're on the next electricity. I think I've pretty much nailed it on this one. Oh, the lightning bolt. We haven't been done the lightning bolt yet. You know, I'll just take a lightning bolt from the beginning. Because we've already done the lightning bolt a couple times now. I can reuse this. No problemo. I have a couple different variants now of this guy. Another thing that's fun to do is you can do a knockout frame. Sometimes I get away with this with electricity. Just do knockout. Sometimes it works out. Yeah, it's a nice little effect. Okay, now I think I'm on to the last part. I never really understood the purpose of knockout. I used it for my teleportation on Andre versus Koa. It's kind of a fun way to show like an after image. Like, I could even do it like right here, watch. Like if he's sliding off the screen, I could do... like that. And then if I just do Andre's color, 993300. It creates like an after image. I can even use it to fade these guys in now that I think about it. So watch, I'll save this as preset. This is how we'll use it. Save as preset Andre. And that way when these guys fade in and... oh wait. No, this is what I want. Whoops. Andre 1. Whoops. I selected the wrong thing. Yeah, that's just a drop shadow. Okay, so now, like when these guys are coming in, I can just go boom. This guy. The fact you have that memorized is wild. Yeah, I don't know where this stuff is like deeply embedded in me somewhere when it comes to some of these details. And I can't even say that it's the right way to do it. You can also it's just the way that I've done these things. You can also just do one axis. Right? If I blur just the X axis, it's gonna make it look like he's flying. Which I think is cool. Lemonio! We're doing electricity. The white impact frame is how it feels to turn on the light in the morning? Yes. It's a flashbang for sure. I think we start the next set of electricity right here, to be honest. And the loop continues, friend. We start back at the top. We've finally looped back to creating electricity again. climbing up the body. To the hammer. Streaking forward. And then arcing for a little bit on the hammer after the strike. And then it looks like he takes off, so we'll just break off the arc. Maybe turn it into a couple particles. Okay. I'll start a bouncer over here. Adding some details. It's basically like two whips interacting with each other. That's the way I see it. It's like two tangled whips. Good luck, Sir Tex. Oh, okay. Beautiful. Okay, got the orb. The brain. Let's put it here. Here. Remember, the brain, or the orb as I call it, is the like the main core part of the hammer. Or the electricity, not the hammer. Okay, let's get some thinner brush strokes, arcing and attaching. On the left, blender. On the right, there you go. Do these streams help you guys animate? Do you feel like you're able to get work done with just the music and my voice in the background? What's up, Donnie? How you doing, buddy? This is where we're at right now. Good. Okay, good. Creative energy nearby helps. I will agree with that. I watched Doja Cat for that reason specifically. That's exactly what my pitch was originally when coming back with the Dojo Cats. It's like, I want this to be a thing where people can put it on and they can be doing something on the side and have a good time and look forward to it. I'm doing well, buddy. I'm hanging in there. Any day you see me on here, I'm doing good, man. Helps me keep accountable for animating since there's goals I have that I won't get by sitting on my ass doing nothing. I 100% agree with that. I sympathize with that. I love all these little arcs. These like little thin little hairpin arcs. I feel like they make the electricity look so much cooler. Adds a lot of character, I think. I feel that too. I think so. Okay, let's get some thickness back into it. I'm trying a little more tendrils this time around. Okay, let's give this a shot. I always like don't think it looks that great initially, and it really isn't until like the sparks come in that I'm like, okay, no, it worked out. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I'll do an entire sequence like this where I animate the whole thing and I go all the way through, and then I add the sparks and I go, no, something went wrong. The frame when it touches the circle, the lightning almost looks like a scythe. Let me see. Oh, it does. That's sick. Yeah, I like it. Now we need to add these bad boys. The radials of life. Whoa. Do you have any advice on screen shakes? How do you know which way it should be traveling? Is it randomness? I'll show you how I do it. When it comes to screen shakes, and this advice I have to give myself regularly, usually less is more. But let me show you. So like if I'm doing a screen shake on the hammer here for this hit, let's get rid of onion skin and let's bring this in. I'll actually just redo this one. Okay, check this out. So this is where the camera is, right here. Boom, this is where we make impact, right? typically what I'll do is I'll face it the opposite direction of where the hit is occurring. So like the hammer is making impact right here. I'll actually slide the camera this way. But before I do that, I'm actually going to establish where the camera is going to return to normal first, so I don't have to worry about the frames. Since we have these impact frames here, we only catch it for just a little bit, but I'm going to, since the hammer is swinging this direction, I do the opposite. I move the camera that way. Does that make sense? And then this frame is where the camera is originally, right? This is essentially where the camera is returning to. You do a dramatic pose the opposite direction. It doesn't need to be that dramatic. I could probably do like that. And then when it returns back to normal, just go the opposite way, just a hair, like slightly, and then return it to normal. So it goes, watch. So like, boom. Back, overshoots, and then returns to normal. Overshoots, returns to normal. So it's, here's the starting point. Bam! Same frame, same frame. Overshoots, returning to normal. Back to normal. See that? Overshoots back to normal. Back to normal. It's subtle. You know what I didn't do on these? I didn't do this frame. On this one here. God, can we get a moment to appreciate the talent of Toby Fox? Made a song called It's Raining Somewhere Else in 2016 and released a new song called The Place Where It Rained. Oh my god. That's funny. You know what I could probably do on the dim frame? Hold on, I'm thinking. Bro, I could probably add the inverse of this frame on the frame before. Hold on. I'm thinking. Like a thinned out version. Because it's going to seem like it passes through him. I think. And then could even do a frame here that is like a thinned out version of this. Look at that. Hold on, I'm thinking. Oh, that might be too bright, though. That's sick. What if instead it's... I see something in my head. Hold on. I see something. I don't know what I see yet. It's in my head. It's like it's rushing through him. You see that? And it's almost like the color that's in this gets put into that frame. My finger has to endure this? It's almost like this, the color in this, Andre's body absorbs in this impact frame, and then what's left over is shot out the back. Like, it doesn't make sense, like it doesn't, but it does. It does to my head. So on the dim frame, I can add a bonus frame in front of this. That is like the wave of this energy coming towards him. Just off screen. That's this here. Yeah. Yeah. Same thing, just off screen. Yeah, why does he hate thumb so much? I don't know, man. Hiccup reveal. Hiccups aren't real. That's how you get rid of hiccups. You can say, fish, I'm not a fish. And your hiccups goes away. Hiccups There was a study they did. You'll have to go search for it, or not. I don't know. But they did a study that somebody was trying to figure out where hiccups come from, and it has something to do with the fact that it's some part of our genetics trying to pull oxygen through our gills, but we're not fish anymore. So it's trying to do something that it can't do because we don't have gills. We're not pulling oxygen through gills in our neck. So you just have to remind yourself you're not a fish. And if you don't believe, they just know that if you don't believe that hiccups are real, then you don't have them and you'll stop hiccuping. So if you say I'm not a fish, it's acknowledging the fact that you know that connection and that you can't be hiccuping because you're not a fish, man. Hardware not detected, exactly. Okay, this is our impact frame, yeah? What do you mean I'm not a fish? You guys freaks out. What's this all been about? I went to fish school. What do you mean? What about all my studies? All that time I spent in the water? My whole life is a lie? I've been doing glub, 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 glub this whole time. What's up, Coaster? You mean I'm just drinking water? I'm not even getting oxygen through it? Last time I checked, ducks aren't fish. Checked 10 years ago. One moment you're fixed, next thing you know, your fingers are getting hammered. Exactly. Bro, can't I just go back to the old days? Zooms back, single-celled organism. This is when life was good. Back in my day, single-celled organism. Life used to be simple. Tell me, I used to just absorb nearby single-celled organisms automatically for sustenance. Now I gotta pay rent? I have been scammed. Color theory, make that white you're using an off-white using Stone's color for the offset. Ooh. Back in my day, they were just glug, 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 glug. You know what? If we never left the primordial soup, we wouldn't even have our stick folk. Exactly. Back in my day. Look at me. Look at me. Impacting my frames. Wow. You know, life was really at its peak during the Ice Age when we were all trapped in the ice caves in hibernation. Facts. Too real. Ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum. Okay. All right. Boom. Bang. Bow. Blur. Y. Blurring Y-axis. You know there's a mammoth alive during the construction of the pyramids? I do know that. The art on the right looks so cool, right? That's what I'm saying. People are talented out there, man. I put their @ on the top of the screen there too, so you should go check them out. Okay, now it's Lowlight's turn. Take some slices of the hammer like this. There we go. I'm locked in, dude. All this talk about turning fish has set my mind to the game Spore. I never got to play that. I remember seeing a lot about it when I was younger, though. Spiky lines. Spiky lines. Doing spiky lines. Lines of spike. Lines of spike from off the screen even. Okay. think that's cool, yeah. Okay. Blurring. Y. Switching sides. We'll get them next time. Okay. Add. Tint. Advanced. Lower alpha. Then we tint our way out. We need the impact of the whatchamacallit? Like a burst frame, I guess? I don't know what they call this. Okay. And then the before frame before it. Oops, don't mean to touch that guy. Leave him alone. Shoof. Okay. Good. Now we need the lightning strikes. Not those ones. I'm going to add the other variant, which is this guy here. Which one are you? Okay. I feel like I'm getting better at these. That one, and that's his follow-up frame. Hit, follow-up frame. Boom. And then I think I'm going to start keeping the outline process for that, because I feel like that looks good. F6, and then after I F6 that, I can just simply knock out. I like to knock out one, and then I can just lower the glow a little bit, I think, on these. Yeah, I like that. Stone, what are your thoughts on the duelists in this day and age? Thoughts on duelists? Like, how so? Like, I think they're cool. I mean, like, the characters, I think the things people make are great. I think it's cool that there's, like, an actual, like, tallied graded system. I think that's cool. This is nuts. I think this is starting to look out of control in a good way. I'm going to be getting off in just a second here. So you should watch a 10 ad. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add like smoke trailing off of his feet after every hit as well. To show like the force that it's creating, pushing wind behind him. With sound effects too, man? Yeah. Okay, I'm happy. I think we did good today. What a cool looking frame. Okay. All right, friends. I think I'm going to head off for now. I got to start making some dinner. So I will probably see you guys here again tomorrow. If you'll join me, same time, same place. Oh, Sean just got back to me. I just see text message, Sean Schemmel. So I will have the information of what he thinks of Dragon, maybe tomorrow. Okay? Bye, guys. Bye. Bye. See ya. Bye. Okay, bye. I love you. Have a good day.